feel like you're a little muted.
No, I'm not. My thing's
It's
on.
either that or you yelled really loud into the mic and it got muffled.
Oh, then that's what happened. Yeah, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, I thought I hit it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome. It's been a hot damn minute, hasn't it? Holy shit.
It
How
has
the
been
hell
a
has it been?
hot minute. Yes,
It's been
indeed.
so much of a hot minute. It's been like 4 months. Yeah,
Good.
it was May. Because
Good
then we had Battle Buddies number 3 in June,
June.
right at the beginning of
Right,
summer and stuff. So
right in
yeah,
June.
yeah. So welcome back, everybody. This is the first episode of season 6 of the Battle Bros podcast, and we're glad to have you here. If you're catching this live, we appreciate being here because we didn't put out any. We put out one video last night. Alamo here put out a video saying, "Hey, we're
Hello,
back.
viewers.
The boys are back," kind of thing. But yeah, so here we are. We kind of took a little bit of a break this summer, just spent time with the families and whatnot, and it was needed. Had some, a couple of things going on. My daughter started middle school, so that was going to be a little bit of a thing. Kind of get the kids back into school. They've been back in school for like what, 6 weeks now, I think.
Yes, about 6 weeks. The kids are back. Yeah, about 6 weeks.
Okay. So we kind of wanted to make sure that happened. Kind of got everybody set up for success for the new year, all that good stuff. So that being said, we are, excited to be back. We've got a whole new season worth of topics to discuss with everyone.
That's right.
So yeah, we're just gonna hit the ground running on this thing. So if you're new to the program, welcome. We're just two guys that have been friends for a long damn time, since high school, and we both served in GWAT. I was in the Army Guard here in Florida. I deployed to Afghanistan, whereas Alamo was active duty and he went to Iraq and was stationed over in Germany, which was pretty awesome. We were just talking about that the other day. So we kind of have a couple of slightly different, varied viewpoints on, service and whatnot, just from the different ways that we served. We were both in high school when 9/11 happened. I was a senior in high school. Alamo here was a freshman. So if you've heard this story before, sorry, you know the story. I apologize. I'm just trying to get the new people up to speed, so we're all on the same page and we can proceed forward in mass. So, yeah. So that's kind of our story. If you want to go back and watch some of our old episodes, all of our old episodes are available either on our YouTube channel. You can go look up the Battle Bros podcast on YouTube. From there, you can actually click on links to all of our social media pages. We have Facebook, X, Instagram, all that good stuff. You can go back and watch previous episodes on our Spotify channel as well. Just look up Battle Bros podcast. We've actually been on here doing this long enough that we've actually got some decent amount of traction on that. So it's like awesome. So yeah, so like I said, we took a break for the summer. We're glad to be back into it. So let's kind of hit the ground running. It's not in the notes there, my dude, but we're gonna just kind of quickly talk about what's going on in the world. If you didn't catch our last episode, season 5 finale was entitled Peace. It's episode 110, 110. We talked about peace. Go back and watch that one. The season finales are usually a little bit longer. We kind of can run in the neighborhood of about 2 hours because we want to, kind of leave on a strong note for the next season and whatnot. The only thing I have news-wise is that, over our break, we went through and it was the 81st anniversary of D-Day, which was back on June 6th.
Yep.
We also just experienced the 24th anniversary of 9/11 a couple of weeks ago.
Can you believe it's been 24 freaking years?
Next year is going to make me feel old as shit, dude. It's like,
dude, it's going to be 25 years since 9/11. Next year. I don't even know where to go with that, dude.
Kind of thing.
I remember that crap like it was yesterday, and
dude, no shit.
It's already been almost 3 decades.
Remember that number. Remember 30 because Cora is going to graduate 30 years after I. So she'll be a senior in high school during the 30th anniversary of that.
Good God.
She's if you know, heaven forbid she stays on track, she's going to graduate class of 2032. So she'll be a senior in high school for the 30th anniversary of that. It's just like we're fucking old, dude. It's
What
like,
grade? What grade is she in?
she's in sixth. She's in sixth. She just started middle school.
So then Jaden will be graduating the year before her then. Yeah.
And then Marcus is the year after.
Marcus is 3 years behind.
Oh, so he's in fourth.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
He was born in 2016.
That's kind of cool though, because they're gonna have a year together in high school. Jaden will be a senior. Marcus will be a freshman, kind of like me and you, and like me and my younger brother, and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of cool. You at least get a year together.
Yeah.
You know, which would be kind of cool. But so there was that. Also, there was an official change in the Department of Defense. The Secretary of Defense is now the Secretary of War.
And it's now the Department of War.
Department of War and the war, like the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth and all that stuff. He's also got some kind of top secret hush hush meeting with a whole bunch of generals and admirals and stuff coming up.
I saw that artitle. Yeah, the fact that he's got some kind of big meeting going on and nobody knows.
It's literally walking in there blind. It's like, okay, this is gonna be interesting. So, but anyway, so we really didn't want to focus too much on the news because it's been a lot. So. There's other things too. So,
las noticias son muy. Actually, I can't think of a word, so never mind. We're not going to go there.
Importante.
Well, we'll go. Yeah, they are important, but you know,
that's the only word I knew. It's like
it's all good, my man.
Yeah, token gringo over here. So hey, it is what it is. So to start off season 6, we kind of wanted to just kind of ease our way back into the pool, so to speak. So we're going to have a kind of a quick not quick, but just not. It's going to be a conversation. You know, I don't expect it to run too long because, like, again, we've been off for 4 months. This is the first couple episodes. We're kind of just getting back into the rhythm of things and stuff. So we kind of take it a little easy, but still want to have something of substance to talk about because of things in the world going on right now. And in our country and just in life in general, we kind of wanted to talk about something that was kind of, we could both relate to in one form or another. And that is going through the loss of identity. So where did all of this come from? So we were,
and a lot of people have been going through that, and a lot of people went through that during and after COVID. Like it was.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how does this affect us military folks as veterans? So as military folks, we kind of go through it twice. Okay, we go through it. We lose our identity when we enter the military, and we lose our identity as an individual to become the service member for our respective service branch. And then on the way out, whether we just do an enlistment, whether we just, do 10 years, 20 years, we retire, mandatory retirement, whatever, and you're forced out, you lose that identity as a service member to go back into the civilian world. So it's kind of like you catch it coming and going, which is a little bit crappy. So before we get too far down that rabbit hole, let's stop for a minute and let's talk about what that is. So loss of identity is defined as a state where an individual experiences a significant loss of their stable and coherent sense of self, leading to feelings of confusion, self-doubt, and a disconnection from their values, beliefs, and personal narrative. So if you think about that, definitely when we enter the military, you're going to lose yourself as an individual. They break you down and they build you back up as a member of a team, whether it's a battle buddy team, whether it's a fire team, a squad, a platoon, a company, all the way up to just being somebody in the whole, army and whatnot, or whatever service branch you're in. So you're going to lose, that sense of, and it's kind of interesting because the sense of identity, like you lose it, but then you gain something else to kind of fill that void. Because like I remember Alamo, you were talking. It was during one of our episodes we've had in the past where you were talking about being in Germany and you had a whole bunch of dudes in the barracks, kind of around the holiday, around Christmas time or whatnot. So you had just this big melting pot of all these cultures and the guys from all over the place. Like you had, your redneck guys learning what the hell a pastele is, and you had guys that were Hispanic and Cuban or whatnot, or whatever the case may be, learning how to line dance from like the Western and the kind of the good old country boys and stuff. You just had that big old melting pot. So you kind of lost your individual identity, but like you gained like all of this cultural awareness of the guys you serve with. And it's like,
yeah,
okay, that's kind of cool. So, it's definitely one of those interesting things that it's hard to describe. It just has to be experienced. Like
yeah.
you get
It was a
together.
good time though, man.
Yeah, oh hell yeah.
And one, I would say that you lose, not necessarily. You don't necessarily lose yourself to gain a new, but you're like losing. It's when it comes down. You are right. It's hard to explain because you're becoming a new you. And the thing is like, I mean, we become a new version of ourselves every single year we're alive, right? Because every single year
I would argue
molds
maybe
us.
like every day. Every day something happens where core beliefs and values kind of get tweaked and kind of just like just adjusted a little bit here and there, which is
like
part of being a human.
Yeah, like I'm definitely not the same guy I was, back in like freaking 2010.
You mean that picture you showed me, that baby face freaking PFC that showed up in Germany? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like actually, let's see. I'll put that image up on the freaking what you hold on.
Oh my God, folks, if you're watching this on a video or live on the internet or whatever, prepare yourself.
Oh man.
Holy shit.
It's pretty crazy. Cause like you think about it, and
it's hard to see yourself because you don't realize you're aging. You just kind of wake up one day and go, holy shit, I got wrinkles. Holy shit, I'm gray. Holy shit, like my knees hurt. I'm just like, where's all this arthritis? Oh yeah, when I was in my 20s, I did some dumb shit, and now my body's paying for it all these years later.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're definitely not wrong, dude.
Especially like with me, where like I was on a work hiatus for about a month plus, and just getting back to work now and like going back into the workspace and whatnot. It's very difficult because I'm just not used to being, stagnant. Like I'm sitting in a classroom with a client, and it's just like I'm getting up, my back is just getting tight and stuff. That's why you and I have had that conversation a couple times over the break about like just what I can do to start getting some, functional fitness and strength, and just kind of get back into like just where I'm not getting up going. Fuck! And every time I wake up, and you get into your 40s, and the cereal you used to eat was Snap Crackle Pop. Now it's Snap Crackle. When you get up out of bed.
Have you had it where have you had it where you get up and just out of nowhere, like you're sitting up, right? But all of a sudden your hip just goes and you're like, ow.
Oh, dude, I was just
But you think about it and you're like, oh, actually that does feel a little bit better now.
I went for a walk last night because you remember where my house is. So
I do,
just a little bit east of my house, they put that new road in, and they're finally building those houses back there. It's a Habitat for Humanity project. They're putting in like 23 homes in there, which is like insane to think of that. Yeah, I know. Jeez. They're not very big houses. Like it's kind of like a good size. If you're like one or two people, it's perfect. I don't ever want a big house. That's neither here nor there. I wouldn't want a big ass house because that's a lot. These are like pretty good. Anyway, so my daughter and I, we will go up to the top of the hill, walk down that street and back. And I'm walking and I just hear, and I was just like, oh God. And she goes, did you fart? I'm like, no, I didn't. That was my hip. She goes, oh God. I'm like, yeah, that shit hurt. Because ever since what I told you the other day, her new infatuation is fat bastard. Every time she gets a chance, she's like, "Sorry, I farted." Like she thinks it's the funniest shit ever, which is it.
Yeah.
It is because I'd rather her have that stuff going on than some of the shit they watch on the internet now. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't want to get it. I don't care. Just don't.
None of the
Spare me. I swear to God, I hear some other kid say 6'7". I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I don't. Fucking stupid shit. And I look up what the hell it meant. I'm like, why can't they just say that? What does 6'7" mean? That's what it means. 6'7", 6'7". I'm like, no, that's not what I asked. You can't use the word to describe what the hell you.
Look at that. Look at that young buck.
Guy. Were you
look
a PFC?
At that young buck.
Or were you an E2?
Right there, I think I was a PFC.
You're a PFC. I can see it. It would the fabric's going into the middle of that. Why aren't you wearing your brass on your collar, dude? You don't have it on your shirt.
What's that? Brass on my collar? What do you mean?
Yeah. Two E2s, 3s, and 4s where they're.
No, actually, if you look, hold on. Wait.
It might be there. I don't know.
Whatever. I was gonna say, I think it is there.
This picture,
like
dude.
If you look like right here, or well, you probably can't even see.
I can't see that now.
Yeah. But if you look like just right to the right of the blue disc, you can see just a little glimmer of brass.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
How old were you in that picture, bro?
Jesus. The given the fact that the Toujours Prey is on there, it probably was 2006 ish.
Because that's when you went to 3.2. You started off with Deuce 4.
Yes.
Which was Indian Head, which is second ID.
It was actually Strawberry Patch. First to 24th. Deuce 4?
Deuce 4 was in 25th. Okay. It was in Tropic Lightning. Interesting. Yes, so 2006. That's 20 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
The first thing that drew me, I was like, his eyebrows are fucking perfect. That's such a dumb thing to say, but I'm like,
yeah, dude. Shit. Like it's crazy.
Like, them shits are like
actually look at that. Let's look at that again. Like, oh yeah, look at them damn eyebrows.
You had that chiseled jawline. You just like,
yeah, I know, man.
You need a whole MRE and not shit.
I'm gonna try and get it again. I'm trying.
Hey man, it's all good. Good stuff. Anyway.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I mean, it's hard when you separate out. You go from that and having that sort of, that culture, that identity, that acceptance as part of a larger group as something better than yourself. And then it's like you're just chucked out, and it's like, okay, on to the next one. It's like, okay, garbage, kind of thing. So. But yeah, so that's why we're talking about loss of identity. So, and you brought up a fantastic point too, like, especially after COVID, it's like we kind of lost a lot of who we were and whatnot. There's a great channel that I've been watching. I'll tell you right now, I'm a big fucking nerd. So I find really abstract, weird shit on YouTube to watch that it has no political value whatsoever. It's just kind of like, I'll watch it and just kind of go, huh, that's cool. There's a lady and her husband who are both from like rural Indiana. They literally grew up down the street from each other when they were kids. And they bought an old schoolhouse in rural Indiana. And they've made it, it's been going on for like almost, if it's not 4 years, it's right at almost 4 years. It might be a little bit more than that. So they bought this schoolhouse sight unseen in 2021.
Yeah.
Her husband is a surgeon, was going through his residency. They were in New York City at the time of COVID going on, when he was finishing up his residency. Yeah.
That's
so
rough.
Like, so they're living in an
Especially
apartment,
with how
and
crappy New York was during COVID.
Their patio kind of became like this really quintessential space in their life, because that's all they had, like where they could go outside, get fresh air. They weren't stuck inside all the time, all that kind of stuff. So they eventually moved all the way back to Indiana, and they've been in the process of fixing up this schoolhouse, and they've done some fantastic shit with it. in the last 4 years. Like they've had some things they've had to completely redo the roof. They've added a garage onto it. They've got a rooftop deck area on top of the garage for like entertaining. They've got like a nice, awning gazebo kind of space going on. But like they were saying, it was just amazing. Shit like that is what I watch because, like I said, there's no political value. It's not anything where I have to sit there. It's something I can watch that's kind of mindless. I can just watch and get entertained by it.
I'm gonna side with you. I'm gonna side with you on this. There's specific videos I like to watch. Like there's a guy, right? And okay, he does Sasquatch videos on YouTube, okay? But hear me out.
Okay.
It's not like he does like, oh my god, in the background, you know what I'm saying? No, he literally all he does is he goes out. It's like a outdoor / scary story type thing. I don't know. But it's all the scary stories are about Sasquatch. Well, there's, episodes pretty much all of his episodes are basically just him, going out to these campsites, freaking go, like you literally follow him while he's on the hike, right? And you see him cooking his steaks, his salmons, or whatever dinners he has, set up for a while he's out during the camp. And I don't know, man, all those videos, they're just very relaxing to me. I don't know why.
Oh yeah.
But like there's just something about like, and this is why I'm so ready to just go back out into nature.
Like what we talked about the other day?
Yes. Because and I'm gonna draw this back into our conversation, right? So I feel like when you go into nature and when you go out and you just
disconnect
give yourself
from society,
and you just disconnect from everything. You just go out there and you give yourself time to really just focus on you and nature and God above with you, right? You find yourself again. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like a I don't know how to explain it. It's like, you're getting away from all the nonsense and you're just bringing it back down to like, here I am. Here's the ground. Here's the trail ahead of me. I'm moving out with an objective. My objective, get to the campsite, set up, cook some dinner, sleep, wake up in the morning, hike a little.
Enjoy my time. Smell the flowers. Listen to the nature sound.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're saying it in a way. It's a way to set yourself up for success because you're establishing a bunch of small, tiny goals which are easily accomplished. And it gives you that, you get that, kind of like that big endorphin rush of like, hey, I accomplished this. That's awesome. You get that boost your ego. You go from there. But like, yeah, dude, like I totally agree with you. Like there's a bunch of videos I've watched where guys just go, there's a really, Brian kind of got me on watching Jeep videos. So there's this one guy, his I think we talked about it before. His channel is called Trail Recon, and he is a retired Master Chief who is a medical guy. He was a medical like corpsman, Master Chief corpsman kind of thing. He just took a trip with another guy up to Alaska, and they're out on these glaciers and they're out on these trails, and it's just freaking gorgeous up there. And I'm like,
Alaska.
They're both in their view, and both of them have like these pretty nice rig setups. Like he's got a Gladiator, but he's got like an Alumacab thing on the back, whereas he's got like space in there where he can go lay down and all that kind of shit, rooftop tent, the whole 9 yards. Like, they've got some time and effort into these things. The other guy's driving like a Dodge Ram pickup truck and all that kind of shit. But you watch it, you're just like, oh, I want to do that so bad. And that's
I
kind of like
know.
the conversation we've had. But like you can watch it and like they're just taking footage. You're out in like just watching the videos. I'm not even outdoors. I'm sitting in my office. I'm sitting in the living room on TV, just watching this, and my body just goes, ugh. You know,
Yep.
you just relax. You just get like that
Hmm.
that chill thing. All right. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but circle us back around there, my dude.
No, but yeah, like like I was saying, like it's it's kind of like a way of finding yourself again after like you've lost yourself. Like the one thing I've noticed is that
Kind of like doing like a hard reset on a hard drive.
exactly. The one thing I noticed with myself specifically is when I start getting to that point where it feels like because I feel like this is like it's like an endless cycle that you go through after you leave the military. You know what I mean? And you run into the instances very often, and then slowly starts to over time be less and less and less, but you're still gonna have your moments, right?
Sure.
You know, it's one of those things where you need to ground yourself. You know what I mean?
Yes. Grounding yourself. Yes. Absolutely.
You need to ground yourself. You need to get yourself, out of like social media is not going to tell you who you are. You know, freaking all the weird videos and funny cuckoo
Algorithms in your
bananas.
feed and all this other crap.
It's
Whatever.
not gonna, yeah, no, it's not gonna tell you who you
Who
are.
cares? Turn that shit off. Purge yourself.
Hmm. You need to get with, as crazy as it sounds, like you know, we came from nature. You know what I mean? We like we were hunter gatherers, right? Like get back with nature. Get back with nature. Get yourself.
That's right, folks. Get back to nature. Rip off your clothes. Put on a loincloth. Go around and just make grunting noises. Crawl on your knuckles and go.
Make bow arrow. No,
Ooh, ooh,
shark
my,
bait. Ooh, ha, ha.
my
I
dum dum
kill.
wants my dum dum wants to speak.
Dum dum. You get me gum gum. No, but no, it's really important. It really is really important to kind of, I know as cliche and as freaking dumb as it sounds, get
Not at
yourself
all.
grounded, get yourself in and get away from modern tech. Get yourself
Yes.
away from all of that crap for a week,
Yeah.
for however long you can get yourself away from, just decompress yourself, because it's going to be one of the most like just
Be-
profound and the
beneficial.
probably the
Very
best,
beneficial.
yeah, one of the best freaking things you can do for yourself, because it's going to bring you, it's literally going to help bring you back, and it's going to help ground. You're going to be like, man, why was I so stressed out about this stuff? Why was I, you know why did I get so caught up
Why
in,
did I allow myself to get to that point where I'm just like,
yeah, how did I get caught up so bad in losing myself in the idea of, well, I'm not who I was once before. Now I gotta face the reality of I wasn't that guy, and I'm not
so
this guy anymore, and blah 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 blah.
let
Yeah.
me interject. I'm going to cut you off right there because that's a perfect segue to go to our first article. Okay.
Hey, well,
So we found a couple of short articles that we're going to read real quick. One of them is an article, and one of them is an article. The first one is an article from ecounseling.com by a Shannon V. McHugh, who has her doctorate in psychology. This was updated on June 12th of this year, so it's fairly recent. It's only a couple months old. The second one we're going to talk about is a short video we're going to play. It's from another website that kind of has to do with um, the military side of things and kind of losing yourself. But we'll get to that in a little bit. So first, I want to read this article to you guys. So this is called Six Signs You Have Lost Your Identity. Aldo's going to bring it up for those watching at home so you can follow along. What the hell did you do? Why is there, what is all that?
I have no idea. Oh, there we go.
There we go. All right. As we mature into adults and become independent from our parents, we develop a sense of self. This refers to the individual identity, values, and self image that define who we are. This process often takes time and involves learning and accepting yourself by first discovering the way you organize your thoughts, how those thoughts affect the way you feel, and ultimately their impact on your behavior. Having a strong sense of self means being able to take in information about others' opinions and thoughts about us, but separating that from the things we think and believe about ourselves. It also involves being able to separate yourself from various roles you play as a person. Being able to detach yourself from your role as a mother or father, a romantic partner, a child, etc., is important to help maintain your identity even in the most intimate of relationships. People will often become immersed in their roles and relationships with others and can find that they have lost sight of their own wishes, dreams, and desires. This can leave them questioning their purpose in life and cause them to feel unfulfilled and sometimes resentful of their lives. This is often referred to as losing your identity or experiencing an identity crisis. Here are some signs that you may be struggling with maintaining your identity. Number one, you have no me time. Often, when a person loses their sense of self worth, they begin to surround themselves with others and do not give themselves time and space to be alone. Having alone time can be helpful as it gives a person room for introspection and the ability to dwell on their feelings without interruption. Having separate interests, activities, and time apart from your loved ones also enriches the quality of time that is spent with those you love. I'm going to put a pin in that real quick and just kind of talk about it. So, when it talks about having alone time, I actually have found myself ever since COVID, I have become a little bit more of what I need. And I'm not even sure this is the correct terminology for it, but I consider myself now to be more of an ambivert. There are times when I'm very introverted, there's times when I'm very extroverted. The times that I'm introverted, like I actually went that. Remember that camp the tent that I showed you last time I was at your place.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
a solo tent for just one person. So like if I ever want to go camping in my backyard just to enjoy the weather, if it's chilly, if it's raining, whatever, I can set it up. I can go in there sleep, and it's kind of awesome because you don't have to set up a four-person tent. It's just you and yourself, and you can just be alone with your thoughts and just give myself the opportunity to just be like, just turn off and shut off. So,
Yes,
but
sir.
yeah, it's yeah, that's the thing. So, going back to it, number two, you transform yourself in various settings. People losing their sense of self and their own identity are often malleable in their preferences, likes, interests, and many other parts of their lives, depending on who they are engaging or interacting with. We see this often with intimate relationships, where a person will emulate their interests of their partner and almost transform into someone else based on the partner they are with. This lack of solid identity can make it hard to be truly intimate and vulnerable with others and can complicate a person's ability to truly love and accept themselves. Number three, you've lost passion for things you used to value. When someone feels a sense of worthlessness or decreased ability to feel confident in themselves, it is common that they decrease pleasurable activities or disengage in things that make them happy and give them a sense of purpose. People will often notice that they become more socially withdrawn or decrease their participation in activities that they enjoy, thus increasing their feelings of discomfort about themselves and who they are. I would have to say that kind of sort of applies. I don't really, it's not that I've lost passion for them. It's just there's times when I just don't have the time for that kind of stuff. As much as I want to go and go for a ruck or go for a hike or, just do that kind of stuff, I just got so much other things going on. I'm just like, "Ugh, I got to put it in the back burner." And that back burner gets kind of cluttered with all the shit I keep putting back on that damn thing. It's like, holy crap. Number four. You are constantly seeking approval from others. A person who struggles with feeling confident in themselves may often seek out approval from others, thus surrounding themselves with people who reassure them that they are good and worthy of attention or love. The problem with this The problem with this is when one is unable to internalize this approval and cannot approve of themselves separately from the approval of others. When when a person is unable to accept and love themselves, their constant approval seeking can strain their relationships and with others. People can become resentful of someone who is always needing approval and appreciation and not returning the favor or seeming to accept it as well. Hold on just a second.
What in the whistle?
Yeah, it's been a while, man. This is probably the one. These last two are probably the ones that I was like, they're looking at me here. Damn it. Number 5, your self care is minimal. Self care is often the first thing to do when a person feels stressed and can cause them to neglect all of the needs that their body and mind may have. Prioritizing physical and mental health is important, and acknowledging the signs the body gives of stress is an important component of learning to love yourself. Addressing their physical and emotional needs can help you love and accept yourself, thus improving your ability to develop and sustain a positive and solid identity. That's something I probably struggled going all the way back to high school, man. Like, I just was very shy, subconscious about myself, very, not very self confident and shit. So that's something that has gotten better, but it's something I still will struggle with from time to time. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wrong one. And then number 6, your thoughts are filled with negative self talk. Struggling with negative self talk and self doubt and your
that
worth
one is my bad one.
Yeah. I'm going to start over because I lost my spot. Struggling with negative self talk and self doubt and your worth is common. While it is normal and natural to question your abilities, if your thoughts are constantly critical and self defeating, this can create a cycle where you begin to feel hopeless and worthless. This can deteriorate your ability to have a healthy identity or solid sense of self. Now, there are times when I do something, I'm like, yeah, good job, idiot. And I kind of, I'm a little bit of I kind of am self deprecating a little bit when like I'm kind of correcting myself. I'm just like, yeah, good job there,
Yeah.
numb nuts, or I'll say something like that. But that's
Yeah.
usually kind of where I stop. I used to be real bad, dude. I would just down the well of despair and negative talk, and it was awful. Even when I
Yeah.
was in the military, dude, because like there were just guys. I always felt like everybody was better than me. Younger guys were coming in, and like when younger guys would get promoted over me and stuff, I was just like, you know. So what did you want to add on that on number 6?
No, just I mean, I like I will say that there have been times where when I do get like really down on myself, like it gets past the point of like self-deprecation. It gets to the point of like, you worthless son of a
You're digging in your own mental ass.
like pretty much like
Yeah.
like pretty bad, man. Um and it sucks because the times that were the worst for me with that are the times where I had my issues with you know something I struggled with, which we've talked about on the show. For anybody else new coming in, I have had my struggles with attempting uh uh attempting I'm trying to not say it because the YouTube algorithm's really odd and it doesn't like the S word. So, but I've had my moments where I did attempt, um, and it was because I just went down that spiral. You know what I mean? Where it got to that point where it's like, dude, you're not even worth it. You know.
Yeah.
Um, and that plays into loss of identity pretty well because once you lose who you are, well, you don't really think that you're really worth being around, let alone being around, if you catch my drift. And it's a pretty it's a pretty bad cycle to be stuck in.
Sure.
So
No, it is, and
one more
it's
with you, my friends.
yeah.
Watch that. Why, if you catch that symptom in yourself, start thinking hard about trying to get some help.
Well, again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Like, I'm glad you're still here, man. Like, I'm glad you did go through with that because it would not just be me that was affected. It would be, a lot of people that love you and adore you and all that kind of stuff. So, well, that's all we really need to say about that. We'll kind of move it on. So keep it,
Yes, sir.
on that right track. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of easy to get down at, like, especially like, because if you think about it, that was a big part of the negative self-talk. Like, that's why we were tough, and our generation was tough, during GY, because you know like that video I showed you, of the unsubscribed podcast. We were talking about, like, they brought back toss and base and stuff. The Secretary of War was like, it's infantry basic. Like, stop treating them like a bunch of freaking pansies. Like, it's supposed to be
Stop
hard.
treating them like sissy.
Yeah.
These guys are going to kick indoors and kill people.
Yeah,
they're not here to play sissy foot.
And that was like the first real time. That was the first time it's like, I really had exposure to that. I'm like, okay, this is what I needed. So that was all fine and dandy. So
basic was fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's I kind of experienced it a lot, just like several times in my life. Like, when certain things have happened personally and whatnot, I kind of just got really down on myself. I've gotten into a deep dark place a couple of times, and I was just like, ugh. It's just it's very surprising how easy it is to find yourself where you're just like, oh God, like I'm talking really shitty about myself in a very bad way. It's like,
yeah,
dude, chill the fuck out, kind of thing. So
basically, man,
yeah, it's easy to get into, and it can be difficult to get out of sometimes. So
yep.
Anyway, so the next video we're going to show, the next article we're going to show is actually a video. So this is from a website called thewarriorsjourney.org. And it's basically like, it's talking about how these people came together. It's kind of finding their meaning, and, kind of like finding their new calling and whatnot, through religion, and, being a disciple and follower of Christ and whatnot. So not, if that's what you believe, that's all great. We're not trying to push on anybody. But the story that we wanted to show is it's about 2 minutes long. It's the first part of this. The rest of it kind of becomes a commercial for this organization, which is fine and dandy, but we're not trying to necessarily push that aspect, because everybody's religious preferences are different. And that's all fine and dandy. If you believe, great. If you don't, hey, that's also okay too. But the story that this guy has was kind of important. So we do want to show this and kind of talk about it before we kind of bring up our last talking point before we wrap up the show. So Alamo, if you would, please.
Indeed.
Go ahead and roll the video. And again, it's going to be about the minute 48 mark is where we're going to cut it off.
Devil.
It was high vis, high ops, very demanding. It was work, work, work. And you really didn't have an option. The workload just began to increase and increase and increase. I was good at what I did. I didn't like seeing people injured. But for some reason, I could recall the medication. I knew the equipment inside and out. I could respond quickly. Here it was now. I was the top of my game, had all of this energy, was making things happen, and doctors and nurses were seeing me as an expert. The career field was seeing me as an expert. But what I kept hidden in private was all of my personal struggles. It's difficult. You come home from work and you have all of this work and school, and that was my priority. In parenting as a single parent, It was very difficult. I didn't feel like I fit in anymore. I don't fit in with the married without the kids. I don't fit in with the married with the kids. I didn't fit in with the single. And so my social network just evaporated.
All right, should be right about there, bud. So if you're not listening to this, or if you can't watch this, the part that we ended at, it has a passage. It says identity loss leads to social dysfunction expressed by expressed by the inability to experience enjoyment or find interest in anything. The problem stems from the warrior's inability to integrate their traumatic experiences into their life to make sense of them. Now, there's not an article that goes along with that. It's basically just talking about what this website was, the warriorsjourney.org, and it's basically, like that particular gentleman Tim ended up becoming a reverend, because it said REV, and then he also had MDIV, which is Masters of Divinity. So for those that don't know what social dysfunction is defined as the failure of social structures or relationships to function properly, leading to disruptions in social interactions and collective well-being. So, like the guy said there, like it said in that thing, it leads to social dysfunction. He didn't fit in with the married couples with kids. He didn't fit into the married without kids. To the singles and all that stuff. He just kind of felt like he's off by himself, kind of like over here and all that kind of thing. So it's like, I read that and I was just like, yeah, I get that. So, and it's very, very difficult. It's like, loss of identity can shake anybody up, but I guess it's one of those things for the veteran community where it's like, it's something that we experience, and yes, they prepare you for it in a manner of speaking, but are you really ever fully prepared for it? I mean, there's guys that, there's all kind of crazy stories out there. Like, I remember when we interviewed Kyle. Kyle was talking about, for however long it was. I think he was in for 8 years. He goes, I was staff sergeant so and so. Now I get out, and I'm like, hi, I'm Kyle. So that whole sense of like your rank and your accomplishments, and like he's a ranger working dog handler and all this stuff. Yep. It's just like it kind of evaporates.
And they mean dick.
And it doesn't mean it. Well, it does to the certain people, but not to a lot of people. Another story I heard was a guy. He was in scout platoon, and he's going to apply for a job. And he's like, all right, so you say hello to the customer, and you ask them paper or plastic, and then you bag their shit and walk it out to their car, because he was applying for a job at Publix after being in a scout platoon, a scout section, and all that kind of stuff. It's like, how does that transfer over and stuff? It's like,
yeah.
So, but yeah, and there's another story I heard about a guy, he had like 30 some odd years in the Marine Corps, and he went in front of or something, he was a master guns, I believe, and he got out, and within a month he had offed himself, because he was like, I don't know what to do. You always have that title of Marine, but he wasn't in the Marine Corps anymore, so he just kind of felt like lost, I would assume. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can all experience that. It's like, you look back on your time in the military with like, there's times like again, the video from the guys from Unsubscribe. It's like, you get the bay toss, you get your wall locker upended and stuff. It's kind of like that rite of passage where it's like, hey, it happened to me. That's awesome. And it sucks in the moment, but you look back on it, it's like, yep, it's kind of like that magic moment that happens where it's like, I belong to this now. I'm a part of this.
We didn't just get our bay tossed. We got our bay tossed and wall lockers tipped.
That sucks.
So all you heard when
which company were you at in basic?
Delta Company Demons. I think it was the 1st of 329th, if I remember correctly. And Drill Sergeant Jordan, never forgot it, was trying to figure out where one of the guys in our platoon was. Never forget him either. His name was Miller. He was 5'4", had buck teeth. And it was the most hilarious thing because whenever he would say, whenever he would say, yes, drill sergeant, yeah, yes, drill sergeant,
He had a bad list because
he had such a bad buck. Well, he was sleeping in his locker, and
dumbass.
Drill Sergeant Jordan is like looking back and forth down the line. He goes up and down the lines, trying to make sure everybody's dressed right. And finally, he realizes, he goes, hey, where's Miller? And everybody's like, hey, Sergeant Jordan, for those of you new to the party, right? He says, oh, hell no. Don't none of y'all know where Miller is? The latrine, drill sergeant? He goes, the latrine, huh? Goes upstairs. And I kid you not, I heard him as he opened the bay door. I heard him as he, to get inside.
You hear the door open, gong. Yeah.
Door, and all of a sudden I hear a distant Miller. Then all of a sudden I hear boom, 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 boom.
Oh, the wall lockers were like dominoes.
They were like in dominoes.
Oh shit. That's amazing. And he was in it.
He was in the wall locker. He was in the wall locker as Drill Sergeant Jordan had dominoed the wall lockers.
So he was stuck in there.
So he was stuck in his wall locker. He said, I kid you not, Drill Sergeant Jordan came back downstairs, red in the face, laughing. He's just like, and I kid you not, this is how he did. He came downstairs like this. And he goes, man, if y'all have seen Miller stick his little hand outside of his wall locker as I called him, I said, Miller, you in there? Head drill sergeant.
And that's when he knocked them all over.
No.
That was after.
He did that after he said after he had knocked over the wall lockers.
Oh,
he said, Miller, are you in there? And Miller stuck his hand through the broken door. Head drill sergeant. Oh,
that's a good story.
Oh my god. Oh,
that's a great story.
Basic training stories, man. They're always the best.
They're the best.
Everybody's got at least one or two.
Yeah. So, like we were talking about, with the whole loss of identity thing. I mean, especially like once you leave, it's, especially kind of now that we're out of the GWAT era. GWAT ended back in 2021 when we left Afghanistan, I believe.
Correct.
Iraq was already closed at that point.
Iraq closed in 2014.
Really? Was it that far off?
Was that far off? What was left was a contingent.
Yeah.
That's what was left in Iraq was a contingent. And they are still there to this day.
Right.
Unlike some certain political individuals who were on a debate stage stated that there were no troops. I'll leave that alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Move right along. So, I mean, it's, back during GWAT, it was great because, people were like, oh, you served? That's cool, man. Thank you so much. And it's like, nowadays it's like, you going in for interviews, social interactions and whatnot, and you don't always have the people that are like understanding of like what all that stuff was. Like, what does all that mean? It's like, huh?
The
Well,
jargon. The jargon. They don't get the jargon.
they don't understand the jargon. They weren't, maybe they weren't around in their positions of influence when all the stuff was going on. So now they're talking to people that were there and whatnot. So it's hard. Losing your identity. It's kind of a big kick in the nuts if you think about it, because like it's something that's so much you. It's like you gave up yourself to join this group, the military, the branch of service, whatever. Especially for some of these units that have a lot of esprit de corps, a lot of lineage, a lot of kind of allure, and a lot of just what's the word I'm looking for. They have a lot of just legacy behind them, so to speak.
Legacy.
Leaving it, it's like when guys that spend their whole career brag and they leave and they're just like, I'm a paratrooper now. I'm just a paratrooper that's grounded, kind of thing. So we'd love to hear your thoughts about it. It's definitely an interesting subject. I mean, it can be something that really, it can kind of maybe mess with you. It can mess with you a lot. So it just depends. So we'd love for you folks to kind of comment in and talk to us about it. When you see this posted up on YouTube, feel free to leave a comment regarding your experience with that, your thoughts regarding
and
the
a
subject.
Like. Also, leave a like
and subscribe, all that stuff. That's not really what we're going for there, but yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of you that are new to the show, this is where we start wrapping up and kind of closing out for the week. The way that this show got started, Alamo and I, like I said, we were friends in high school. Both kind of went our separate ways, ended up joining the military after 9/11. When we both left the military, we both lived in the Tampa area, ended up working together in the retail sector. Had a lot of fun doing that. Again, kind of split, went our own ways again. And then ended up doing an event for his wonderful, wonderful wife, Tisha, who has her own thing going on. Check out flipsidementorship.org. Is it org or .com? .com. Excuse me. Flipsidementorship.com. Great things going on over there. We partner with them once a year when we do our Battle Buddies event, kind of in the summer. Hopefully, we're not doing the summer this time. I'm not trying to turn into a freaking lobster again.
Turn into a lobster.
A lobster. Don't want to be a lobster. But it's really cool. We get to spend time with kids and kind of mentor them and talk about the military and this, that, and the other. So we did that the first time. It was a great success. And then ever since then, Alamo was like, hey, man, we got to do something together. Like, I miss like us cutting it up and having fun and all this kind of crap. So we discussed the idea of doing a podcast. And when we worked together, originally we had this coworker of ours named John. And John was another vet. Was a Marine. I believe he was Motor T, right? Wasn't he?
John? Yeah, he was Motor T, if I remember
Motor
correctly.
T.
Yeah, he was Motor T. Or wait, no, Motor T. I think we're thinking Steven.
Steve was Motor T. I don't remember what John
Steve
did.
was Motor T.
Yeah, I don't remember.
His famous line was, "If you can't
truck it, fuck it." Yep. Good old shit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
you go to range. Range. Never forgot that one.
Brain grenade.
Brain grenade. Indeed.
Help me get the finish line.
That's
so,
right.
John was one of the guys that worked with us at the range counter. We were kind of our own little crew. We had a lot of fun. And I'm surprised we didn't get in more trouble or get fired. Like,
no kidding.
Like we had a lot of fun. So John was one of those guys. He would have given you the shirt off his back. Great dude to work with. Made work more fun than it should have been. Just an absolute funny fucker. A great dude. Kind of lost touch with John when we all left. After So fast forward back to present day, like we were talking about, Alamo was wanting to do something together with the two of us again. And I saw an ad, somebody had posted that John had passed, and it was by taking his own life. So I was like, "Hey man, did you hear about John?" He goes, "No, I got to reach out to him. His birthday's coming up." I'm like, "Can't. He's gone." So that was kind of like, for me, that was the catalyst moment. Was like, "Hey man, the podcast thing, like, I'm in. Let's do this. This is like a shot in the dark. This is like a lightning bolt from the heavens. This is like, hey, this is what we need to do." So we kind of talked about what we were gonna, what our message was gonna be, like kind of like laying in all the groundwork and the foundational type stuff for what we were gonna do. Came up with the name Battle Bros. We also came up with the Battle Bros Code. So Battle Bros Code is 4 easy things you can remember if you're having a hard time with anything. If you're feeling feeling unworthy, feel like you're struggling, feeling like you just can't get ahead, you're just starting to, doom spiral and all that shit. Stop and take stock in these 4 tenets, okay? So the first one is B. Easy to remember. Just got to remember the letters BROS, bros, okay? So B, be tenacious. Whatever you choose to do in life on any level, whether it's, being an artist, being whatever your job is, your parent, a spouse, whatever it is, be tenacious about it and don't apologize for it. Be unapologetically tenacious, right? Go out and give it 110% every single day and just go out there and do it to the utmost of your ability. Okay. In the words of the great Ron Swanson, okay, remember this: don't half ass 2 things, whole ass 1 thing. It sounds crazy to think about it. You're like, that's insanely wise. I'm going to remember that. And you're welcome, America. That you're welcome. Be tenacious. R, refuse to surrender. A lot of times in life, we have things that happen where we feel like giving up and quitting. Okay. Obviously, don't. Okay. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to get, discombobulated. You're going to get off course. You're going to get to the point where, hey, I'm a little bit lost. I don't know where I'm going. Stop for a second, reorient, shoot a new azimuth, get back on track, refuse to surrender, all that good stuff. Okay. Oh, obliterate your obstacles. Kind of going hand in hand with the last one. When you're lost and whatnot. When those things happen, things come up, things get in your way. Sometimes you have to, if there's an accident on the interstate, sometimes you got to detour off the interstate, go down an exit, get back on, and then haul ass again. Whatever the case may be, okay. Sometimes you have to crawl under concertina wires. Sometimes you have to, crawl under live fire that's 18 inches off the ground. Sometimes you have to breach a wall with Bangalores and C4, and sometimes you're going to be like this guy and drive an armored vehicle through it. And that's a real thing. For the folks that are new, that's a real thing. Whatever the case may be, obliterate those obstacles, get back on track, and remember to keep moving towards the OBJ and hit that X, okay? Lastly, S. Most importantly, S. Seek out help in a time of need, It's very, very unfortunate that John is no longer here because, he chose to solve a temporary problem with a permanent solution. And that's unfortunate because John was a guy worth knowing. Like I said, hilarious dude, great guy, full of piss and vinegar and full of gusto and vigor in life and stuff. And I really wish we would have stayed in touch because maybe he'd still be here. And if it meant him being here was us not doing this show to pay homage to him and remembering him and helping other people down a similar path, I'd be okay with that. Okay. Because he was a guy worth knowing. So if you feel like you're ever in a point where there's no way out and you need help, there are options out there for you. Okay. If you feel like you're going to harm yourself or you feel those thoughts kind of being very pervasive in your head and whatnot, there's the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. You can call 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255, or just dial talk, 1-800-273-TALK, Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, talk. Okay. You can also dial the new 3-digit prefix. It's 988. Again, that's 988. When you get on with an operator, you dial 1 so you can speak to somebody immediately. They're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're there to talk you through whatever you need to get help with. Okay. This is something that is probably the biggest sort of threat to our generation, our subculture of society, is veteran suicide. Okay. It is the reason why, where'd it go? I wear this bracelet right here. On average, 22 veterans a day elect to use that permanent solution, and that's not okay. Okay, everybody that served deserves to have their story told, deserves to pass on their wisdom and knowledge to the next generation, and that's kind of what we're doing with this podcast, is to help keep these people around and keep them here so they can pass on this wisdom and knowledge and experience to the next generation. So if you can remember those 4 things: be tenacious, refuse to surrender, obliterate your obstacles, seek out help in a time of need, you're going to have a pretty good chance of being okay. And, don't be afraid to reach out to somebody. Okay. So that's kind of why we came up with that. It's important. It's definitely a different animal when it's 22 veterans a day that off themselves, but when you know somebody and can put a face and a name to that, it sucks a lot more. Trust me.
Yeah.
We've had to experience that quite a few times. Alamo more so than myself, but it's never a good feeling. So that's why we have that. But at this point, I'm good. I'm going to hand it off to this guy. He's going to finish up with the rest of the other announcements up at the end of the show, and then we're going to cut off for the week and go from there. So take away there, guy.
If you folks like what you hear and see, drop a like, drop a comment in the comment section here on the YouTube, because it helps us out a lot. Or does it really? I don't know. The YouTube algorithm's gotten kind of weird and funky. So, but like, comment, subscribe.
It's one of the universe's great mysteries. Indeed. How the algorithms work or make sense.
Correct. And share the heck out of it. Share the heck out of this message. I know we're a couple of goofy guys, and sometimes it seems like we don't really know what we're talking about, because sometimes we probably don't know what we're talking about, but we like to try and help. So, yeah, please do that. Like, share, subscribe, and share. And if you would like to check us out, right, we have a couple places where you could do that, where obviously you could check us out at Battle Bros _podcast on the Instagram. You can also check us out on facebook.com/battlebros.podcast, which is all the metaverse stuff, right? You can also find us over on the X, formerly Twitter, at Battle Bros PC.
I like how you throw that in with your radio voice. On X, formerly Twitter.
Yes.
Good stuff, dude.
If you ever would like to contact us, you can always do that right there on either one of those platforms via the instant messaging service. We love hearing your feedback. We love hearing what you have to say to us, and we love hearing ideas you got about things you would like to hear. So go ahead and drop us a message there.
But also in a very non-weird way, we love you too.
Indeed. If you'd like to
sucked on that, it made it weird. So I do apologize, everyone.
But if you also would like to contact us on on something a little bit more private, there is our email, which is battlebrospc@gmail.com. battlebrospc@gmail.com. You can send us episode ideas, things you think you like about the show, things you think you don't like about the show. Hey, we don't care. We're here for it all. And if you like seeing us on other platforms, you can find us on the Spotify as well. Usually right after every show that we do live. Typically, I try to get episodes up. I'm going to be working very hard to make sure that I get that done a lot sooner this season. Usually, it gets pretty crazy, especially with my professional life now, currently the way it is. But you can catch us on Spotify. You can catch us on iHeartRadio. You can catch us on multiple different platforms, to include the Rumble. All you got to do is when you go to Rumble, you go to
You just have to
rumble.com.
put your R's, bud. I get what it is.
Um,
Don't do the eyebrows. Well, is that your fucking mating call or something? What the fuck, dude?
I roll my R's.
Finish up so I can get off here and try to sleep tonight, you weirdo.
Oh, you want to get off? Oh my god. Okay, guy.
Get
Easy.
off the shit,
Easy. Yeah.
jackass.
So
Finish up the announcements, your ass hat.
last
Go.
but not least, like I said, if you want to go ahead and check us out on Rumble, you could do that. Go to rumble.com. Just search Battle Bros in the search bar, all one word, and you'll find every episode there as well. I freaking love every single one of you that show up to the show. Thank you for giving us 4 fantastic freaking years. We look forward to bringing you some more.
Has it been that long already? We started this 21, right? Jesus. So again, this has been episode 111, Loss of Identity. This is the season 6 premiere of the Battle Bros podcast. Next week is going to be an awesome show. I'll tell you what we got going on, because I've got it right here. We are going to be doing our first ever book review. Yes, there it is. So this is a book entitled Between the Echoes, The Reality of PTSD, and it's written by our good friend Brent Lee, who he was our first VIP interview that we did way back when.
Way back in the day.
So he wrote a book about his experience with PTSD and whatnot. So we're going to do a book review and kind of interview him about that. We are super excited to have him back on the show, so he can talk about his how this book came to be and the process and whatnot. And I also found out that he's actually writing a follow-up book to this, and he's also got another book which is kind of more of a fiction-based book as well. So he's got quite a few things going on with this. Feel free to tune in next week. That'll be October 3rd, Friday, October 3rd. Yes.
Yes.
We will be interviewing Mr. Brent Lee. It's going to be quite a good interview. I just know it. Every time he's on, it's a good time. It's a great dude to talk to. All that good stuff. So please feel free to tune in next week. But until then, thank you for joining us for our chat on Loss of Identity. This has been the season 6 premiere and episode 111 of the Battle Bros podcast with myself, Mac, and my wonderful co-host and brother in laughter and arms, Alamo. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, all this good stuff. Hey man, sometimes it's not about you getting the message. Sometimes you watch it and you go, I watched this show and I saw these 2 guys. The one guy is kind of scary. He's got a big head, and the other guy's good looking and funny. But they got a good message. And if you can get that to somebody that might need to see what we're talking about to help keep them around a little bit longer, hey, that's great. I've been asked several times, hey, how many followers do you guys have? I'm like, I couldn't tell you. I don't know what that looks like. I'd have to ask him. And I don't think he wants to know what it looks like either, because it's not really a metric that we're trying to track. What's more important is if somebody came up to me and said, hey, man, I found your show through a friend or through somebody. I was getting ready to do something really dumb and regrettable and permanent, and I watched your show and I listened to it, and I'm still here because of that. That would mean the fucking world to me. It really would. It would just be it would be validation. Like, I know we're doing a good thing, but it would just be a cool sense of validation. So, that would be amazing. So, in the meantime, folks, we'll hopefully see you next week. Just please remember, be tenacious, refuse to surrender, obliterate your obstacles, seek out help in a time of need. And if you can do that, you have a pretty good chance of being okay. So, again, this has been episode 111, entitled Loss of Identity from the Battle Bros podcast. My name is Mac. This is Alamo. We will see you down the road and see you soon. So until then, take care and have a good week.
Battle Bros. Out.
A little too long on the pause. We gotta shorten it up just a little bit. Y'all take it easy. See you. Love you. Thank you so much for watching or listening or both. Bye.